Hey everyone! So today I'm here to share with you a tutorial on how I created this endless shaker card. I was inspired by Maureen Simon, and I'll go ahead and link the video that I was inspired by in the description box in case you guys want to go ahead and check it out. So this is really fun and easy to make, so if you want to see how I created this, then just keep watching. So first off, I have a piece of Bristol paper that I've cut down to 5 by 7, which is the size of my cellophane bag that I'm going to slip this into. So now I'm just going ahead and using the Tim's Distress ink and carved pumpkin, and I'm applying that to the center of my background, and I'm just going to keep applying that until I like the depth of the color. And after that, I'm going to use the Distress Oxide ink and black soot, and I'm applying that all around my 5 by 7 card. So I initially want to blend these two together. I want it to look like a very spooky October sky. I also love this color combination because it's very Halloween, orange and black, and I just love the way it turned out. So I'm continuing to add the black soot around my card, and once I do that, you're going to see that I go back and forth between the carved pumpkin and the black soot to try and blend everything out. So the only downside to that was my carved pumpkin applicator, my distress applicator, it got a little dark because I was blending it so much. So yeah, that was the only downside to mixing these two colors, but I couldn't help it. They looked so good together. It looks like a very spooky sky, so I totally loved how it turned out. So I'm just going to stop talking and let you guys listen to some spooky music while you watch me blend out these inks, and I'll be right back. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add some more detail to my background, to my night sky. I am taking a cup of water and a paintbrush and just sprinkling some water onto my background. And I'm going to give it about 30 seconds before I pick up all the water with a paper towel. And I love doing this. I think it just adds a lot of detail to your background when doing cards like this. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm just picking up that water. So I wanted to add some stars using white acrylic paint to the outer portion of my sky, but I didn't want it to be perfectly masked off. So what I did was I took a paper towel and crinkled it up. I placed that in the center of my card, and now I'm just adding some white acrylic paint to my glass mat, mixing a little bit of water with it, and I'm going to be sprinkling the white acrylic paint mixture over my card. I love that the paper towel in the center isn't perfectly masking everything off. It's a little all over the place, which allows me to sprinkle the acrylic paint in certain spots, and I can actually move it. See, I can move it and just kind of figure out if I want to add a little bit more to the orange part of the background or not. And to make my night sky a little more spooky, I'm going to be using metallic watercolors from Prima, and I absolutely love these. I'm using the color silver, and this just adds such beautiful detail to the background. I love them so much. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby, and I feel like, where have you been all my life? I love these. Next, I'm going to be creating my ground, and I went ahead and took another piece of Bristol paper and die cut out a hill, and I'm going to be using the black soot Distress Oxide ink on this one as well. And I'm just going to be coloring this with the ink. I'm not going to use any water or anything on it. I'm just simply adding the color to it. So that's what I'm doing here. And just so I don't get my fingers too dirty, I add a little piece of scrap paper to the bottom as I'm holding it, just so I don't get my fingers all black. After this, you're going to see me distress all the pieces for this card. So I went ahead and die cut out all my pieces out of the Bristol paper. So I have the trees, I have graves, pumpkins. I used a lot of the pieces that come in the Haunted House add-on kit. I will have everything linked in the description box below so you guys can check everything out. If you want to purchase anything, definitely go ahead and do so there. But yes, the pieces that I'm going to be using from the Haunted House add-on set are the trees, the graves, the ghosts, the little pumpkins, and the little bats. So not only are you able to use it to make a haunted house card, but you can also use the little elements that are in the die set to create cute little backgrounds. So I absolutely love that die set, and like I said, I'll link it down below. So I'm basically just going to distress everything. Right now I'm using walnut stain distress ink, and I'm going to mix the black soot distress ink as well to make my trees look extra spooky. Now I'm going to be distressing these little tiny graves using the black soot distress ink, and I tried to concentrate the color more on the outside of the grave and leave a very light shadow towards the center of the grave. When that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and add some of that black soot oxide ink to my glass mat. Then I'm just going to go ahead and take a paintbrush with some water and pick up that color and sprinkle it over my graves. I feel like it almost mimics the look of stone, so I really like that extra little detail. I think they came out really, really cute. Next, I'm going to be using my distress ink and carved pumpkin to distress these cute pumpkins. So these are from the set The Name's Jack. I'll have everything linked in the description box like I said, and those two little pumpkins are from the Haunted House add-on set. Next, I'm going to be stamping out all the cute little faces on my jack-o'-lanterns and ghost. So I'm using the Name's Jack stamp set. I'm using VersaFine black ink, and I'm using my Tim Holtz stamping platform to go ahead and stamp out all the faces. Now that our pieces are prepped, we're ready to go ahead and create our card. So I'm adding the ground to the sky, and using my Tombow Mono Aqua Liquid Glue, I'm going to be adding the tree behind that hill. I don't have an acrylic block on hand with me, so I just used my Distress Oxide ink pad to place that on top of the tree to kind of flatten everything out. So I'm going to be adding another tree to the right hand side, and I kind of want the trees to be very crooked. So I've placed it so it's leaning more toward the right-hand side, and I just want them to look very crooked and almost like they've been there for so long, and they're old trees, so they're growing in all crazy ways. Next, I'm going to be adding a little bit of my glue to the back of these graves, and I want to tilt the graves as well. So I want the graves to be going all different ways. I just think it adds to the creepy effect, I guess. So I'm going to be adding those, and I'm just tucking them behind the hill. I love the way they turned out, the little specks on the graves to make it look like stone. So, so cool. After that, I'm going to be adding the little bats to my sky. So I made about 3. I'm going to be adding those around the trees. I think it adds a nice detail. And then I'm going to be adding these cute little pumpkins. I adhered black cardstock behind the pumpkins so the faces are filled in. I did the same to the ghosts. Those are also from the Haunted House add-on. Next, I'm going to be creating our sentiment using this little phrase from the phrase stamp set. So I'll go ahead and link that down below as well. This says Happy Halloween, and I'm going to be embossing this. Yes, you heard me right, embossing. I have a love-hate relationship with embossing, so if you've been following me for a while, you know this. But I actually love how this turned out. So I'm just using some white embossing powder, and I'm heating that up with my heat tool, and this is how it turned out. Now I'm taking a cellophane bag that I had picked up from Daiso, and I'm cutting it down to 6.5, and the bag already measures 7 inches in width. So I'm slipping my card inside. I left about 1.5 inches over, so I was able to fold the rest of the cellophane bag over and adhere it. So once that's inside, I'm going to flip my card over and grab my bone folder and crease that leftover piece on top really well. And then I'm just going to add my sequin mix. I love this sequin mix, it's so cute. I created this sequin mix myself, so there's black sequins, different shades of orange sequins, iridescent ghost, and black bats. So I'm just making sure I have the right amount that I want inside. Once I have that figured out, I'm just going to go ahead and add some adhesive with my ATG gun tape and fold over my cellophane bag. And just to make sure nothing comes out, I'm going to be adding some Scotch tape. You can use washi tape, but I just had Scotch tape on hand, and I'm going to be sealing that down really well. So after that, I'm going to shake everything around, see if I like everything. And I have our 3 pumpkins. So what I want to do is flip them over and kind of group them together how I want them on the front of my card. Then I'm going to take some foam tape and tape them together. I'm going to add a couple layers because I really want them to pop. And then I'm going to add a ghost coming out of the middle pumpkin. So I have a little piece of adhesive there, and I'm going to have him just coming out of that pumpkin. Kind of place everything and see where I want it. I move it again, so it's not like this is adhered down forever, but this is our sentiment, and I kind of want to see how this will all fit. So I'm moving it up a little bit, and then I'm going to place my sentiment underneath those pumpkins. And then once everything is the way I want it, I'm going to add some adhesive to my card base. And then I'm going to place my shaker on top of that card base. And I gotta make sure everything is lined up correctly. And then I will press down. So I just open the card and press down on the inside. And there you go. There is your endless shaker card. So I love how this turned out. I hope you guys did too. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Love you guys. Bye.